Have you ever felt like there's more to life than what you've been taught? That nagging sense that you're waking up, but you don't fully understand what's happening? You're not broken. You're not lost. You might just be spiritually awakening. And while it can feel like a chaotic, lonely process, it's actually a deeply beautiful transformation. In today's video, we'll break down the 5 stages of spiritual awakening in a way that's clear, grounded, and relatable. No fluff, just real talk about a very real process. And by the end, you might just realize you're farther along than you thought. Stage 1, the sleeping stage. We all start here. Stage 1 is what many call the matrix. Life feels normal. But beneath the surface, there's often a quiet sense of discontent. You follow the script. Go to school, get a job, do what you're told. You chase what everyone else chases. Success, approval, stuff. But deep down, something feels off. You might look around and think, is this it? You're not yet awake, but the soul is restless. It's as if your spirit is whispering there's more. People in this stage often feel anxious, numb, or like they're wearing a mask. They don't know it yet, but they're standing on the edge of something profound. This stage isn't bad, it's the seed. And every awakening starts with a little discomfort. Stage 2, the trigger. Then comes the crack in the shell. For some, it's a crisis, a breakup, a loss, burnout, an existential breakdown. For others, it's something quieter, a book, a dream, a conversation that hits different. This is the moment where the illusion begins to fade. You start questioning everything. Your job, your relationships, your beliefs, your purpose. You may feel like you're falling apart, but in truth, you're falling open. The old you is beginning to dissolve, and it's terrifying because identity is comfortable even when it's limiting. In this stage, you might feel lost, but what's actually happening is a sacred undoing. This is where the spiritual path truly begins, not as a choice, but as a pull you can't ignore. Stage 3, the seeker. This is the most curious stage, and often the most chaotic. You start looking for answers everywhere. Spiritual books, YouTube videos, astrology, meditation, shadow work, quantum mechanics. You name it, you feel hungry. But with that hunger can come confusion. You bounce between ideas, beliefs, and practices, trying to make sense of it all. Some call this the spiritual supermarket phase, where you're sampling everything but not sure what actually nourishes you. You might outgrow friendships. You might feel misunderstood. You might go through intense emotional waves, joy one day, despair the next. But don't worry, this is part of the process. Your ego is shedding its armor. Your intuition is beginning to speak louder, and most importantly, you're remembering. Remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Stage 4, the breakthrough. Suddenly or slowly, something shifts. You begin to see through the noise. The scattered ideas settle, and you touch something real. Something quiet, timeless, and deeply loving. This is often marked by moments of pure presence. You sit in nature and feel like you are the wind. You look into someone's eyes and feel oneness. You no longer believe in something greater. You know it. This stage is often called the heart opening. You become softer, more compassionate, more accepting, not because you're trying to be spiritual, but because love just makes more sense now. Your life may still be imperfect, but your relationship to life has changed. And here's the wild part. What used to feel meaningless now feels sacred. Even the pain. Stage 5, integration and embodiment. Now the real work begins. This stage is all about embodiment. You start aligning your actions with your awareness. You bring presence into everyday life. Washing dishes, having hard conversations, going to work, all with a deeper consciousness. Spirituality becomes less about escape and more about engagement. You might feel called to serve, to help others, to teach, to create, or simply to show up in your truth. You become less reactive, more grounded. You trust your intuition more than external validation. You don't need to prove your awakening. You live it. And while the spiritual path can feel deeply personal, one of the most surprising things people discover during awakening is this: you're not the only one. In fact, millions of people across the planet are waking up, quietly, inwardly, sometimes painfully, often without even realizing there's a name for what they're experiencing. You start to notice synchronicities, repeated numbers, symbols, dreams that feel like messages. You meet people who reflect something back to you, as if the universe placed them in your path. You experience déjà vu, intuitive hits, energy shifts. Things you used to brush off now feel like divine breadcrumbs. And slowly you realize spiritual awakening is less about becoming something new and more about unlearning everything that's not you. The old patterns fall away, not instantly and not easily, but steadily, like autumn leaves letting go when it's time. And as that happens, you start creating space for the real you to emerge. You stop chasing, you stop performing, you stop measuring your worth by how much you produce or how liked you are. And instead, you begin to live in alignment with truth, moment by moment. It's not always glamorous. There are no medals for healing. But you start to feel a sense of peace without reason, like being okay with not having all the answers, like trusting the process even when it's quiet, and that is sacred. And yes, you'll still have struggles, but you move through them differently. With more grace, more trust, more inner stillness, you've come home. The cycle. Awakening is not linear. Here's something most people won't tell you. These stages are not a straight line. You'll cycle through them again and again, deeper each time. One moment you're embodying peace, the next your shadow rises, and that's okay. Awakening isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real, fully human, fully divine. And that means embracing the mess and the magic. So, which stage are you in? Wherever you are, stage 1 or stage 5, you're not behind. You're not broken, you're blooming. And the world needs awakened souls more than ever. If this video resonated, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. Your awakening is your gift, and every step you take helps light the path for others. Keep going. You're not alone.